Ledaig peated single malt whiskey from Tobermory Distillery, Sinclair Series, Rioja finished, and an indie bottling from Single Malts of Scotland, fully matured in a sherry butt. What are these like, and should you be in the market for Ledaig? Stay tuned for the Whisky Whistle. What's up, everyone? Mark here for Whisky Whistle on YouTube, sharing a little whiskey awesomeness from South Korea, bringing you some Ledaig, peated Ledaig whiskeys. We have an official bottling and an indie bottling, so we can compare and contrast these. First of all, I've got this interesting Sinclair series, 46.3% ABV, matured in ex-bourbon casks and then finished in Rioja wine casks. Let's go ahead and get that poured. Hope you're all doing really well. I've got my voice back. It used to sound like that a couple of weeks ago. Okay, we'll get that one poured. I have been very patient with this bottle because I wanted to give it enough time to be able to smell it and taste it. That's a nice healthy pour, roughly 30 milliliters. So I mentioned 46.3% ABV, unchill filtered, natural in color. And where does it say that to us? Actually, there, non-chill filtered is written on the side here. And actually, it doesn't say natural color. However, I can refer to the Korean ingredients where I can see that it says whiskey Wonek 100%. They should list it if it has color added. Okay. And also, this one is imported by Distill Europe to Germany. And so if it had color added, then it would say... what would it say? Mit Zuckercolor is what it would say on the back of the label. So, natural color. They should put it on the label though. Anyway, so that's the Sinclair series. And let's get the Indie Single Malts of Scotland poured. That is from the fine people at Elixir Distillers. There. Peaty. We'll get that one poured now. And if it's your first time here, whoa, oh my goodness. Wow, this is cloudy. Look at that. It's already very hazy. Interesting. This has been open for about, well, how many? I don't know. A few months, anyway. Really interesting. But I was going to say, if it's your first time here with me, Mark, here on Whisky Whistle, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that little subscribe button right over here, right about somewhere around here, right over there. Subscribe. Fruit flies are coming for my whiskey. Hit the bell also so you're notified of future Whisky Whistles. And if you're already into joining me here on Whisky Whistle, then why not join my crowd sharing on Patreon, patreon.com/Whisky Whistle. Help keep the lights on. I'm looking at my lights and I can already see that a few of my LED lights are burnt out. So, you know, running a whiskey channel is not cheap. Of course, the benefits are I get to spend my all of my free money, all of my available extra money on whiskey. Probably, I'm not sure if it's worth it, but I'm sure having a great time. Let me try and get a good show of the color here for you. Make sure I keep these in order. These are very similar in color. I think the Rioja is a little bit darker which is very interesting because there's no way that the Rioja, which does not have an age statement, there's no way it's 13 years old. It's going to be at most 10, I would say. It might be a little bit less. This might be like their 10-year-old, and then they add the Rioja finishing after that. So 10 years, 6 months, 11 years. But it might be 9 or 8 years old. 13 years old in a sherry butt. It doesn't say whether it's first fill or not. But I'm guessing either it's first fill or it's second fill, but the sherry was very dark and in that sherry butt for a nice long time. That's a little bit older. This came out in 2019. I think I had 2 bottles. That's the second of 2. And really, really lovely. Ledaig also, I must say, is probably one of my favorite distilleries now. Favorite whiskeys, I should say. Tobermory, one of my favorite as well. I do love straight up Tobermory. But I think that amongst the whiskey nerds, I think they sell more Ledaig than they do Tobermory for independent bottlings. Oh my goodness, I almost knocked that over. Okay, so that's the color. And let me just get myself a little bit of coffee to fuel this video. Nice cold coffee. Oops. And a bit of water to wash it down. All right, so we're going to start with the Sinclair. We'll go through the nose, the palate, the finish, and with water, whiskey score, and then the Ledaig in the sherry butt from Single Malts of Scotland. We'll go through that one on its own. And then at the end, we'll compare them. And then we'll have a little bit of fun with that also. Okay, so the Rioja. We checked out the color. I think I'm going to skip the legs for now. I don't think they're going to show very well. Let me just try it one more time. I'm really not having much fun with legs here in Korea because I think the water is softer, which is making it slipperier. Okay, let's see. Well, okay, not bad actually. But yeah, we're losing the leg show as quickly as it's coming out. Medium speed first legs, nice and slow second legs, exactly what I love to see. And now the legs are basically gone. Okay, so the nose. Beautiful wall of sweet peat. I can smell the wine. And I think it's working really lovely here. I think Rioja casks work well with whiskey. Sweet, raspberry, peat, salty peat, nice wood fire. There we go. And some rich chocolate-like notes, dark chocolate, smoky, strawberry, raspberry. And a really darkly brewed tea here, like pu'er tea, or that's called boi cha here in Korea, which is fermented and long fermented. I think I need some whiskey. Let's go. Okay, cheers, folks. The palate. First of all, lovely, lovely whiskey. The mouthfeel actually is a little on the thin side, all considering, although it is nice and waxy, soft. What's the word I'm looking for here? Very silky mouthfeel. And we have the wine, the peat, the bourbon casks all working in concert here. So it doesn't just taste like I've added a few drops of Rioja wine to this. It's really, really well integrated. Buttery, chocolatey. Dark Danish rye bread. This is reminding me exactly of rugbrød, rye bread in Denmark, pardon me. Sliced thin, put some butter on there, smør, I think it's called smør, and then some Ledaig chocolate, some chocolate leaf. It's a Danish thing. It's delicious. It's decadent. It's not a breakfast food, but they eat it like that. Probably they would normally have it on a French style of French bread, but I think it works really well on the rye bread as well. But the dark, what is it called? Ledaig chocolate. I think that's what it is. Ledaig chocolate. Chocolate. Ledaig chocolate. I think there we go. Something like that. Chocolate is very hard to say in Danish. Chocolate. 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 Oh. Chocolate. I'm trying to think of my cousins. Okay. So really interesting, chocolatey, buttery, jammy notes here with that very flavorful rye bite coming through. Delicious, smoky, chocolatey, sweet, strawberry tinged finish that carries a nice long while. And I almost don't care that it's got a slightly thin mouthfeel anymore, because the flavor is just so sumptuous, and it's a very approachable peated whiskey that I think that anybody could get into, unless you really have a peat aversion, which some people do. Let's try that with water then. And I'm only going to put 5 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 drops of water. More minty, rye-like spice notes coming out with water added. And the peat, by the way, overall, the peat here is approachable. It's not super like kerosene, like tar, kind of a intense, insane peat. It's a very wood smoky, smoked meat, smoked cheese, just like sauna smoky, bonfire smoky type of a smell. Maybe something, this would go really well with smoked salmon and lock. The water is really bringing out the sweetness here. And again, the finish is just everything carrying a nice long while, and it's delicious. Boy. One more quick taste, one more. No big changes on the nose, a little bit more of that minty, herbal, rye-like, dark rye bread note. Not pumpernickel, by the way. That's not really true rye. You got to get the German or the Danish dark rye bread with caraway seeds in it. Wafts of peat rushing over my palate as I chew on that. Delicious. Okay, well, let's get on to the Whisky Whistle whiskey score for Ledaig, the Sinclair series, Rioja wine cask finished. What is that going to be, folks? It's going to be 89 out of 100. You heard it, 89 out of 100 is the Whisky Whistle whiskey score for this delicious bottle of Ledaig, the Sinclair series. Goodness sakes. And I'm forgetting here, this says Spanish Rioja casks. So we're probably talking Spanish oak, which is probably having a nice effect and bringing some of these chocolatey, delicious notes through here. But super lovely, lovely whiskey. Definitely needs a Whisky Whistle hug. And a Whisky Whistle kiss right on the Tobermory Ledaig logo. Mwah. Beautiful. So happy I got this. I think I paid 80,000 won, which is a bargain. It's a steal. This is fantastic. I think maybe it doesn't sell that well here because it doesn't have an age statement. I wish it did. But again, I'm pretty sure we're looking at 8, 9, possibly 10 and a half years here for that one. Okay, so on to the Ledaig distillery, from Single Malts of Scotland. Okay. 13 years old. Let's check out the nose here. The nose is quite coy. A little bit restrained. I'm not getting as much big ol' peat in my nose, but I am getting some really subtle, dark fruitiness in this. Dark prunes, and yet still some strawberry jam and maybe like a raspberry tart in there as well. Let's just play with this a little bit. I have a feeling that this is not as heavily peated as that one, although I think in general they do, 45 or 55 ppm? Buttery, minty as well. Gentle smoke. Okay, the palate. Cheers. Being cask strength at 57.3%, much more intense. I'm really getting a prickliness all throughout my mouth and a little bit of sweat on my brow from the intensity of this. If the peat was coy on the palate, it's really rushing through here on, if the peat was coy on the nose, that's what I wanted to say. It's really rushing in on the palate. And funnily, the short finish of Rioja wine casks had more of a wine infusion then the full aging in this sherry butt, which again must be second fill here. The dried fruit is subtle. The peat is strong. The oak is pretty potent. I wonder, maybe that was a cask that they finished something in first, and then now it's refill for the 13 years here in this Single Malts of Scotland bottling. Really peaty finish, peat, smoke, ashy, smokehouse. But just enough sweetness to really make this super well balanced and very delicious. We're going to add 15 drops here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Whoops, that was 16. A little over 1 milliliter of water added there. Here comes the girls. Hi.
Yo, Whisky Whistle.
Yeah.
Where's May?
She's swimming. Can you guys read some books for a little while?
Sure.
Okay. I'll be done fairly quickly.
Are you gonna go back to work
Nope, I'm done.
already?
Yeah.
Are you gonna cut this part off?
Which part?
This part.
Yep. Well, that's my daughter's. By the way, it looks like Rocky's up. Hey, Rocky. Hey, Rocky, come. Come. You come say hi? There's Rocky. Rocky, say hello. You want to say hello? Beep, 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 beep. Rocky, look what's coming. Up. Up. Cute guy. Let's see if he likes this whiskey. Does he like it? Oh, he kind of likes it. Let's see if he likes a little tiny taste of that. Nope, not really. But he's not too... He doesn't hate it too much. Oh, I think he likes it. Good job, buddy. Rocky? Hey, Rocky. Good boy. Down you go. Okay, so then with water, what do we have here? Gentler peat. A little more access to the sherry, the dark fruits, the dark prunes. A tiny bit of raisin, like the sun-made raisin container, the round one, and you open the lid, you get that waft. Charger? What?
Because somebody just closed it. You're supposed to press the button and then close it. Sorry.
아니 없어 그거.
It's right here.
아니 내가 쓰고 있어.
You're using it?
All right, so softer, a little more access to the sherry notes, raisin, the prune note. The palate is well Whoa. The palate as well with water, much more accessible to the fruity sherry cask flavor. Really well balanced. Still, it's got some nice ash, some nice smokehouse notes, smoked meats, some smoked cheesy notes in there. Really delicious. Well, I gave it the water. I could probably add more water, and I'll probably find that also this will kind of give it that Danish rye bread note that I always love in peated whiskeys. This one, though, would go just so excellently well with some Danish pickled herring. So, sild og whiskey. Sild og whiskey. Pickled herring and whiskey would be a good match here for this bottling. On to the Whisky Whistle whiskey score for Ledaig from Single Malts of Scotland. This one was bottled in 2019, distilled in 2005. What is that going to be, folks? It's going to be 90 out of 100. You heard it, 90 out of 100 is the Whisky Whistle whiskey score for the Single Malts of Scotland Ledaig. 13 years old in a sherry butt. Very, very lovely whiskey. Surprisingly, though, I'm just so shocked about the Sinclair. Only 1 point different, even though it's got that slightly thinner mouthfeel and not quite as oomphy. There we go. Not quite as oomphy in terms of its ABV, but that's pretty fantastic. Side by side, let's see what goes on here. So interesting. Soft, but really, really delicious. Much, much more peat influence, especially on the palate. The sherry is definitely in the background, despite being fully matured in sherry. I love them both, but wow, that Sinclair is really knocking my socks off here. All right. Should I mix those? I think I'll keep them separate, but I know they will mix nicely together. Maybe another time. Okay, anyway, so 89 points for the Sinclair series and 90 points for the SMOS, Single Malts of Scotland, Ledaig 13-year-old. And look at that cloudy goodness versus this one, which is relatively clear, even though it's probably 25 degrees in the house. Ooh, there's like a snake in there. There's a peat snake. Let's see. Well, the peat snake has all been mixed in. But this is really lovely. And I think, don't let that detract you from the whiskey itself, that it's cloudy. So that's the cloudy one. This is clear still, even though I've added 5 drops. Probably a few more drops, and it will also get a little bit cloudy due to the fact that the ABV is dropping. All right, well, thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure you subscribe to Whisky Whistle. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. And again, my name is Mark. You're watching Whisky Whistle. If you enjoy Ledaig, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the Sinclair series Rioja finish. Do you have some indies that you love from Ledaig, or are you loving their 10-year-old and their other official bottlings like the 18? Leave me a comment, and we'll see you next time, okay? Take care, everyone. Bye-bye now.